but I have the 2 stitches less because to me it seems that if I have the extra 2 stitches, then maybe my bees won't fit in properly as they should. So I was so glad at the workshop when Adele said that you don't have to follow a pattern exactly. You can change it. So that was my ticket to changing everything in future that I feel needs changing. Good day everyone, my name is Mariette, also known as the Boervrou, and welcome to episode 8 of the Crafty Stitches Podcast. Today is the 4th of April 2022 and I'm coming to you from cold and rainy South Africa. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook as the Boervrou, as well as on Ravelry as the Boervrou, and on my website boervrou.co.za. If you have any questions, you can just send me an email at info@boervrou.co.za. I will also make chapters for the podcast so that you can skip ahead or skip back to something that you might want to see or see again. I'm just looking at my notes. I'll be talking about a workshop that Leanie of Independence Crochet and I went to at the Yarnie Corner later in the news section. Oh yes, and before we begin, what am I wearing? I am wearing this shawl that I made a few years ago. When I edit the podcast and it doesn't show up very well, I will maybe do another video to show you the shawl. This shawl is something that I made quite a few years ago. It was in this Afrikaans book. See in the frame. It was in this Afrikaans book, and in Afrikaans it is called Hang dit om, which roughly translates to hang it around. And this is the pattern picture. You can make it in a scarf or a shawl and you can just hang it around, or it was also some instructions for you to close it if you want, but I just left it open, as you can see here, and I wear it more as a type of a shawl to keep my arms warm and my back. I think I did use the exact amount of yarn. I used L Pure Gold DK for this, and this colorway, I don't know what it's called. I'll pop the colorway name in here. And I think I also used 5 balls for this project, and I definitely did use a 4mm crochet hook for it. I did make it quite a few years ago, and I don't know if I did make a project page for it. I only recently started to really do my project pages on Ravelry, but if I haven't made a project page for it, I will go do so and weigh this and make sure that all of my notes is on there. This was let me just think quickly. This was a very fun project. I think I made it in 4 or 5 afternoons. I think so. It was very addicting and quite fun to make. So that is what I'm wearing. So let's go into finished objects. Right. So I just have one finished object this week, which is one of my own designs. It is a yarn cake cozy, a 50-gram yarn cake cozy. I made this with the supermarket here in South Africa called Checkers, sells some yarns, and this is their chick yarn. I don't have a label anymore for this. I don't think so. But if I can find a label, I will link the colorway for you. So what I did, why I actually made this, is that in the future project section after my whips, I will be talking about what I want to make next. And I think I'm gonna need some 50-gram yarn cake cozies. And I do have some that I made recently, but the reason I made the extra ones is that when I started my whole yarn cake cozy design and whatever, wait, let me just back up a bit. Let me just grab something that I want to show you. So before, when I was mostly crocheting, and I don't know what I made, even things just with one color of yarn, and then this is when the yarn cake cozy was actually born, because I got very irritated with yarns falling off the table, running around and going everywhere. So I improvised and I came up with this idea where I took a little plastic container, and my husband helped me. We put grommets in. I have quite a few of these, maybe 4 or 5. And then I would open it up and throw my yarn cake in here and put the yarn through the hole in the lid, close it up, and I would work with that. But now if you work with 2 colors or more, then you'd have 2 or 3 of these in a basket, and it took up quite a lot of space. So I thought by myself, no, I must do something else to contain the yarn, and I decided that I want to work from the inside of the yarn cake. And that is when I started thinking of what I can do to contain the yarn cakes. And then I designed the yarn cake cozies. So I would just pop the yarn in there and put them in the bag, and then it's 2 or 3 of them together, and that worked out fine. And Leanie and I were on a Zoom call one Sunday, and we were talking about what we are doing, crochet projects and so forth. And I told her about the yarn cake cozies, and she immediately wanted to make some. And I sent her my notes and whatever, and she made some. And then we were talking, because just after that, it was just after that I discovered Knitty Natty's YouTube channel. And I saw the float tote, where she makes a basket or a project bag with a little tray, and she adds these magnetic snaps to them, and then she's got, I'm not sure what she calls them. I think it's something like buckets where she puts the yarn inside. Anyway, so I thought, well, that's a good idea. Maybe we can just add the snaps to the yarn cake cozies and snap that into the bags that we already have. So Leanie thought it was a brilliant idea, and she added snaps to her yarn cake cozies that she already made, and she added the snaps to the bottom of one of her project bags, which she made herself. It was a tapestry crochet bag, if I remember correctly. I don't know the pattern, I don't know all the details. I just know she made these cozies and she snapped them to the bottom of the bag. So anyway, to make a very long story short, some years ago there was this competition held by Al for designing a bag, and I actually participated, and I designed this bag, which is a round bottomed bag, and obviously I didn't win. But yeah, it didn't just go about the winning. It was more of participating in something where I can spread my wings and try my hand at designing something. So I designed this bag. It's got, I don't even know, I can't remember everything. I actually have written very good notes for this because obviously it was for a competition and you had to provide the pattern afterwards if need be. And it's got this little cross stitch, double crochets and different sections and whatnot. So I designed this bag, and I decided for my next project that I will talk about later, maybe I can make a little tray like Knitty Natty's float tote that fits into this bag specifically, and then add these to my tray, and then my yarns can be contained in this project bag for this project. So that is my plan, and I didn't want to use the yarn cake cozies I already had because I don't want to add the snaps to all of my cozies. So I decided I will just take some random acrylic yarns and make enough cozies to fit in this bag. But anyway, just if you are curious about this, I made this with Owl Lullaby yarns. I do have some tags here. I can just quickly show you. I still have my leftovers from this project. So this is the Owl Lullaby yarns. It's 100% acrylic and it's 300 meters on 100 grams. And as I said, I used a 4mm hook. I used 4 colors, which was, this is chipmunk, this one is lilac, and the purple one is called mauve, and the beautiful blue one is called cayenne. So that is the yarns that I used for the bag. And yeah, that is all that I can say about that. It was now a very long story just to show one finished object. But anyway, so I hope you found that interesting. Alright, so that is my only finished object. Let's continue to webs. Okay, so for my first web, I'm first gonna tell you of this new thing that happened. Gertruida from Ietsie Klein, which makes the most beautiful stitch markers, which I will also show you in news because I got myself some. She started a thing on Instagram called #AccountABuddy. So we have buddies that helps us stay accountable with one project that we nominate for this AccountABuddy train that we are all on. So Gertruida and Tanya and Annelie started this train in March, and I was looking at this and I was thinking, I wonder if we can join. And I thought, okay, wait, no, it's only 3 weeks because it was in after the first week of March or so. And I thought, no, let's see how this develops, and we'll ask next month if we can maybe join if they keep doing this. But before the 1st of April, Gertruida said, no, wait, everybody can join. You must just send her a message, tag your project on Instagram, and she'll add you onto this train. So when I saw that, I'm like, yes, I'm on the train, let me do this. So I got onto the train with my luggage of one whip that I am going to nominate for the train for my Account Buddy project. So the project that I nominated for this Account Buddy train is my Summer Crochet top. Let me just put this away because it's quite rambly, making a noise. So let me just get this out and make sure I'm not ripping out stitches. Right, so that's a big tail. So I nominated my Summer Crochet top that I am making from Moya Piccolo. Let me show you the yarn label quickly. Maybe it's your first time and you haven't seen this before. So this is hand-dyed South African yarn. It's Moya Piccolo. It's 100% cotton, and this is the colorway Periwinkle. And I am using a 5mm hook for this project. This is my own design, which I have frocked many times because my raglan increases went skew. Well, I say skew, my husband says I'm doing them in a different spot. And just a little bit of what I will talk about later is that it seems my husband was correct. I was doing the increases in a different spot, but that I found out on the 2nd of April when Leanie and I went to this workshop where Adele from Adele's Yarncreations talked about raglan increases and gave tips and tricks on her recipes and so forth, and got very nice information. So that was really a lot of fun. And yeah, but let me talk about that in news. So this is my Account Buddy project, my whip that I am working on. In my previous episode, I was at this point where this stitch marker is, which is a stitch marker made by Gertruida from Ietsie Klein. Let me move it because otherwise I'm going to forget. Okay, so that's moved. All right, so for now it seems that all my increases is staying in the proper positions, and I am now increasing. I'm increasing this time with a double crochet, a chain stitch, and another double crochet, all in the same chain stitch space that I then created in the previous row. So it seems to stay flat. I have not yet added some short rows. I did want to, but it was a little bit difficult for me to wrap my head around it because I'm now turning the work after every row. And if I do the short rows and turn around in different spaces, it looks a bit funny. So I will see at the end of this project if I can maybe add short rows to the top if I want to, or I'll just leave it like that because it is a summer top, so it's not really that big of a deal. But we'll see when I get to the end what I want to do. So yes, that is this top. And I decided to nominate this one for my Account Buddy project because my other whip, the Beekeeper Cardigan, gets a lot of love. And I seem to forget about this one a bit. And I really want to get this finished. I'm not chasing through it, but I want to see it finished. I mean, I love the process of making the stuff. But because I had this many problems and there's lots and lots of frogging, sometimes I'd rather grab something else than work on this one. So because I have the Account Buddy train, I decided this morning thinking that I'm gonna do one of my other projects for my 30 minutes of knitting or crafting in the morning, so that they all get a little bit of love. And during the week, I will mainly work on this project to keep motivated and to just not dedicate all my crafty time to one project, so that all of them can flow, and so that I can just have a 30-minute break of this project every day. And on Sundays, I will still work on my scrappy projects as I usually do. Okay, so that is my whip. My second whip is still my husband's socks. I think I call them Anton's Soul Socks on Ravelry on my project page. It's called Soul Socks because I'm working with African Expressions Soul. It's 200 meters on 50 grams, and it is a composition of 15% kit mohair, 15% mulberry silk, 50% merino wool, and 20% polyamide. When I gauge swatched for this project, Adele from Yarncreations Podcast sent me a message, and she was so kind to let me know that she finds that the yarn actually grows a bit, and she finds that working with a smaller needle than you usually do is maybe worthwhile. And while I was doing a gauge swatch, I tested the theory, and I saw I definitely need to size down one needle size when working with this yarn. So the only thing I could find that I already had was 2.3 millimeter DPNs. And so I used my 2.3 millimeter DPNs, and I found that when I wash this, it does grow, and then the sock is the right circumference. Okay, so in the previous episode, I was at this point, at this teeny tiny toe that I had, and I worked all of these rounds for these 2 weeks that has passed. These socks is taking me a while, because I think I counted, and I work 20, 40, 60, 80, about 80 rounds or so before I start the gusset increases, and then it's just past 100 rounds, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So 100 rounds is just before the end of my gusset increases, because my husband is wearing, I think, a size 11 shoe. I think that's a UK, yes, UK size. It's 10 or 11, I can't remember exactly. But I need just over 100 stitches, 100 rounds after the toe is finished before I start the heel flap. So they are growing, and I did find my swatch that I was looking for. I couldn't find it. In the previous episode, I mentioned that I don't think I worked the swatch into the sock, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And when I was packing out one of my yarn bins, I found the swatch. So this will still be worked into the other sock. But yes, that is my progress on these socks. Just move this up. So that is it for my husband's socks. It's a 68 stitch sock size. But yes, that is it for this whip. So my next whip is the corner to corner waffle stitch blanket that I've been making, but I decided not to show it in this episode because it didn't get a lot of love. I only added one color stripe to it, which is 2 rows. I'll show it when it got a little bit of progress. So let's just move on to the next whip, which is the Beekeeper Cardigan that I'm making. Okay. Let me just sort this out quickly. Right. In the previous recording, I was at this point and I added all of this much of this one sleeve. I didn't start the next sleeve, so I just added this little progress keeper here, and I did that much on the second sleeve. I just worked on the second sleeve until I almost got to the end of the ball, and then I just took it off because I wanted to add the new ball to the body. And then for the body, I was at this marker, and this is how far I got so far. This is really a lovely, lovely project to work on. I really love the texture of this knit, and yeah, it's very addicting. I really battled to put this one down. So as I said, I'm going to do the other projects that I'm making in my 30 minutes of knitting in the morning, because I think it will be very hard to not work on this one while I enjoy it so much. Anyway, so let me just move all three of these markers. Progress keepers. Let me put it in there. Right. So that is all of them moved. This one is from Yarnie, made by Yarnie from the Lekker podcast. And then these two, no, these two. This one is from Pincushion Crafts. And this one I actually ran out of progress keepers a little bit. Not entirely, but that is light enough to use on my knitting projects, because on my crochet projects they can be a little bit heavier. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, but on my knitting projects it really does make a difference. So I just took this little light stitch marker that I use on my needles, and I just added it to a light bulb stitch marker. So I do have a few acquisitions. I bought some progress keepers from Ietsie Klein, which I will show in a little bit, and then I will maybe just take this one out and use a proper progress keeper. So yes, I'm making this with my mystery yarn that I still don't know what it is, and 5mm, which is a US 8 Chaigu needles, the lace tip needles that I got from Little Yarncraft. And I don't know if there's anything more that I can say about this. I actually am trying to see if my yarn chicken is going to work out, and I weighed this yarn cake before I attached it to the body, and I put a light bulb stitch marker in the moment I joined it in, so that I can see how many centimeters of knitting around the body I get out of this yarn. I think I made some notes on the pattern. I think this was like 60 grams or something that I caked up, and then I'll be able to weigh the rest and make an estimate of if I'm gonna make it or not. I'm not really that worried. If I really don't make it, I'll just take this cardigan to a wool shop and I'll go look for something that works with this combination and just do the neckband and it's not a button band, it doesn't have buttons, but yeah, it's like a button band just without the buttonholes and the buttons. So we will see. I'm not too worried about it. If I don't make it with this yarn, I'll make a plan to get something that fits in with this maybe in a contrast color or something. So I'm not that worried about it. I'm really enjoying this. And now that I have more knowledge about raglan increases and stuff, I even enjoy this more. This pattern doesn't really hold your hand that much on telling you what to do in every single row. You have to think a bit and make some maths and work out your stitch counts to fit your bees in and so forth. So like for the body, I have 2 stitches less than the pattern actually says, but I have the 2 stitches less because to me it seems that if I have the extra 2 stitches, then maybe my bees won't fit in properly as they should. So I was so glad at the workshop when Adele said that you don't have to follow a pattern exactly. You can change it. So that was my ticket to changing everything in future that I feel needs changing. So thank you, Adele. I'm really appreciative of that piece of advice, because sometimes we just want to follow a thing to the T and it really isn't necessary. It's just knitting and we can frog it if we like and we can change it, because not all of our bodies are the same. So if it doesn't fit me, then I have the right to change it until it fits me. So that was something that I learned this weekend. I mean, I knew I could change it, but you always think, wow, can I really change someone else's pattern? But yes, I got permission now to do that. All right, that is my Beekeeper cardigan. Okay, we are still recording. Let me just have a sip of coffee. Right, so that is all of my whips. Now, as you would have heard, that I'm on the Encounter Buddy train, but I've been planning this cast on for quite a while, since she mentioned it from day one. I was thinking about it and I voted and I decided I really do want to take part in this knit along. So Nitty Natty, Natalie of Nitty Natty, and Yarnie, which is a yarn shop in New York. I'm not exactly sure where, but it's local or nearby to where Nitty Natty lives, and they have a collaboration with a spring shawl knit along. I'm not sure if that's the decided name for it, but that is what I saw on Natalie's website. So according to my knowledge, it's called the Spring Shawl Make Along or Spring Shawl Cowl. I'll put the hashtag on the screen for you. So what they did is they asked some designers that has a which have designed a shawl with less than 25 projects on Ravelry to submit their shawls, and then made a make along around that to help and encourage other people to give this designer some love and to share their patterns and do a lot of sales for them and help them in that way. So it was you submitted your shawl pattern and they made a short list, and they gave us, as the public, 3 different designs that we could vote on to which one would we like to knit. And all 3 of them were beautiful, but the other 2 was a little bit more, there was more involved, there was more stitch patterns, and I'm really finding more and more that I'm a less is more type of person. And when I saw the shawl, I was like, oh, I want to make that. And it is the OUT-Stranding Shawl by Christie Archer. I'll put a picture in here so that you can see what the final pattern is and what it looks like. That was chosen by all of us to make this. But anyway, so I decided I want to take part, and I was going through all of my yarns and things because the shawl is a fingering weight shawl, and I decided to be different. I always want to be different, you know, and I decided I'm going to make this shawl in double knit yarn. So I'm going to make a gauge swatch still today and decide if I'm going to stay on the counts of the pattern and if I'm going to adjust my stitch count to make it smaller, because using double knit yarns it will be bigger. But I decided I'm not going to buy any yarn. I'm going to use stuff that I already have. So I'm going to combine different brands of double knit yarns. It will all be cotton yarn, but I might add some mercerized cotton to the mix as well. So going with what I don't really usually do is going with a lighter color for the main color. So I'm going to use this yarn. I don't know if the color would be true to color on the screen, but I will see if I still have the name. I do have the name for this somewhere, the colorway name. I'll put it on the screen. But this is L cotton on double knit. It is not the same as the ones that I used for the Emiliana. This is the previous cotton that they still have as part of the collection. I'm not sure if they have this colorway exactly, but I know they do still sell the L cotton on double knit yarn. So this is it's like a beige with terracotta type colors. I think it was maybe called something terracotta. I don't know, I'll put it on the screen. So this is going to be my main color. I have quite a lot of this. I think I might have like 400 or so grams of this yarn. And then I'm just going to stripe in leftovers that I have of different projects. I'm going to stripe in some of the Kismet yarns, Raisha cotton. I have some pinks and I've got a purple and different colors, pink colors and so forth, for the stripes of the OUT-Stranding. And then like the Moya double knit, like this Sangria, I've got like greens and different colors. So I'll just mix them up to what I feel like when I get to it. And then I might also use some of the L Premier Natural mercerized cotton in between. So I think that might be a nice combination with the main color. I might stick to just one color for the main color, like the top and the border part after the stranding. I will see what I feel like when I get to that, if I am going to change to another color for the border. But for now, I think I'm going to do the whole thing in maybe this yarn. So I still have to do a gauge swatch for that, and then I'll work a little bit on it this afternoon when Nitty Natty has a YouTube live today. So when you will see this video, it will be already finished, because this video will go up on Wednesday as usual, so it will be 2 days before. But anyway, so I'll be working on this a little bit during the live and deciding on the stitch counts and all of that, and then I'll be back to my Accounter Buddy project for the rest of the week, until maybe the weekend, and then maybe on Saturday I'll work a little bit on it. So I'm not going to let this shawl make me not do my Accounter Buddy project. I'm definitely sticking to that, but I want to participate in this make along. I really enjoyed Nitty Natty's fall garment make along, where I made 2 garments for the make along, and I think if I remember correctly, this make along runs until the 26th of May. I think it's May, so it's plenty of time to finish a shawl, I think. And then if I remember correctly, she's got another, like for the full garment make along, she had a celebration, a YouTube celebration for the make-along to celebrate the make-along, and it seems she's going to do the same type of thing for the shawl. So that will be very nice. That was my first experience on being on YouTube, and it was nerve-wracking. And the funny thing is, actually, just after that, that actually gave me a little bit of confidence, and I decided I'm going to start this podcast. And I actually recorded an entire episode the week after the fall garment make-along, and I never published it. And it was actually not so bad. I really enjoyed it. I actually still have the recording. And when Leanie and I talked about really starting podcasting, I told her, listen, I already actually recorded a podcast episode in November of 2021, and it really wasn't so bad. And but I never published it. So yes, I should have actually just started then and there, but anyway, I did not. So at least now here we are. So that gave me a little bit of confidence to actually start doing this podcast and doing what I love and sharing it with all of you guys, because doing something on your own, I mean, I do have Leanie, but she's just one person, and poor Leanie cannot always just listen to everything I'm rambling on about. I need more people that I can talk to. So yes, that is all of that. So that is what's happening for future projects. And let's get into news. All right, so as I mentioned, Leanie and I went to this workshop that Adele presented on giving us tips and tricks on raglan increases and making tops top down with raglan in the raglan shape. She actually showed us about crochet as well, and you can really go and follow her Facebook page. She gives a lot of information on how she does her things, top-down sweaters and summer tees and so forth. She really actually just gives you more of a recipe style thing, and as I mentioned, she says that you don't really have to follow a pattern. You can really watch her channel as well, and she really makes the most beautiful summer tops. I really enjoyed it, and she also explained a lot about how the increases is done, as I said, with the Beekeeper, where you do some increases but not all of your stitches, and then how you sometimes can do raglan increases, your short rows basically. And she drawed us some pictures on the board of how you do these increases, and she actually had a crochet top as well. And yeah, she's so knowledgeable. I asked 2 questions because of problems that I have with the summer top that I made. So at the end of the day, we worked out that the reason that my summer crochet top was not doing what it should with the raglan increases is because because I've been doing my increases in the wrong manner. I shouldn't have increased in the stitch, but made a chain stitch space in which I should have done my increases, because as Gertruida said, she said that when you work amigurumi, which I've never done before, your beginning of round goes to the side, because if you do a chain stitch, for example, if you look here, your stitch is there, but the chain stitch at the top where you work is not always on top of your stitch. It's more of the legs is here and the chain is there, that type of thing. And then every time you do an increase, it goes and stacks to the side. Whereas now when I turned it, this turns around. So then I have an increase on this side and one on this side, and that balanced out a little bit better. But when I changed the method of increasing, that sorted out the problem more efficiently, because that is where you're supposed to increase. I tried to increase my crochet like you would increase your knitting. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I think that actually happened. But anyway, that's what I love about this yarn community, is that everybody knows a little bit and they share it together, and that is how we learn, because I didn't know what I was doing wrong and now I understand it a bit better. And then I also asked Adele, I have the problem that with the previous raglan things that I make, I have this excess fabric here. So it almost feels like I have too much fabric here. And then she said, she was frowning and she said, yeah, but are you doing short rows? And I'm like, no. She says, but that will sort out the problem, because that will push this a little bit down and that will go up here and it will even out more. I must first try short rows before I think of anything else. So that is what I am doing on my next knitted top, whatever it will be. I'll definitely add some short rows and see if that sorts out that problem, because it's very annoying to have a lot of fabric here and then to have this front go up to your neck here. I don't really like that. But anyway, so I've just rambled on about all the things that we learned, but it was very, very nice, and we really learned a lot. And then, of course, as I mentioned, Gertruida from Ietsie Klein was there with her stitch markers, and I, of course, had to buy some. So this is what I got. I got myself this set. Let me just sort them out a little bit, more or less. So these are the markers that I got, and I love these clasps. I mean, just look at that. They just open and stay like that, and then you can just add them to your stitches. These crocodile clasp things is very frustrating. I really battle with them. The small ones that is small enough for knitting and not pulling stitches is too small. I battle to get them in. So I'm really, really excited about these markers and these clasps. I'm sure that is going to work so much better than the ones that I have. So I got this set, and then I also got one of her thread cutters. Not sure if she calls it a thread cutter, but yes, it's one of the ones that she adds a little blade to it. Maybe let me take it out. She adds a little blade to the inside of the heart where you can cut your thread. And I was looking at this and I was thinking, it would be a nice pendant. And then I'll always have something to cut my yarn with. Do you think that's a good idea? I think it's a cool idea. But I won't wear this one yet. But yes, I'm very excited about this. As you know, I like hearts. I do love pink as well. Purple is my ultimate favorite color, but I really love the detail of the little glitters and all of that. They're really, really beautiful. And of course, the clasp. I love the clasps. I can already see myself gathering all my stitch markers and taking them with when I see her again for a, what did she call it? Her clasp replacement service. Because really, this is amazing. I'm sure it's going to become my favorite. Okay, so that is my acquisitions from Ietsie Klein. And then I also got some yarn from Annelie from the Yarnie Corner. She had some Moya cottons there. So I got this purple called Purple from Moya. And I got these two. These two, they are the same, and they are called Atlantis. And this is really, really pretty. I mean, I love purple, and I do love blue as well. So it's like best of both worlds in one color, in one ball. So yes, I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with these, but time will tell. Don't have to have everything sorted out yet. Okay, so that is all of the acquisitions. And then of course, we met a lot of people. I think we were 13 people in total at this workshop. And I actually made a little list of everybody's names and so forth that we met. It's so lovely to put a face and a voice next to the names that I now see on Instagram and on the YouTube comments and so forth. It's really nice to be able to pull the two together. So of course Adele was there, Annelie Forshee was there, Marina was there, Gertruida from Ietsie Klein, Marilyn was there, Almarie was there, Alex, Ilse, Dina was there, Sunette was there, and Belinda. I'll pop a picture in here of all of us. We took a group photo. Unfortunately, Belinda already left when we took the photo, but yes, I'll put a picture in here and you can see we really had a lot of fun. It was really fun. We chatted so much, and we all learned from each other, something from each other, even if it was just a tip on how to do color work and things like that. It was really, really fun. I took some of my products as well with. Annelie and Marina said, please bring your rusks and stuff. And I'm really glad that I did. There was people that really appreciated that. And I really, really appreciate all of your support. So that was also a lot of fun. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to quickly mention, I will actually pop in some footage here, is that I'm very fortunate. I know that. And my husband made me a Swift. So now I have a Swift. So as I said, I'll pop a little video in here of how it works. I'm sitting and looking at it right now. It's really pretty. It works beautifully. And I am so impressed having a Swift. Yes, I know I'm very fortunate because he really loves making things, and he actually made this frame that we put these shelves on. We actually made the table as well. But anyway, making lots of things. So yeah, we're real DIYers. We love making things. And I showed him pictures of the wooden umbrella yarn Swifts and the Amish Swift, and we were talking, and he said now he's gonna make a Swift. And then he did his own research, and showed me a few videos on YouTube of different types of swifts, and he said this is the one he wants to make. And he designed the I don't know, the core of the thing, of the swift, and machine it on a what do you call it, a lathe. And yes, they made the 2 parts, and then the rest he all measured everything up and made the holes and put the whole thing together, designed it and everything. So as I said, I'll add a video and then you can see. So isn't that just amazing? I think it's amazing. So that is my swift. Also, for news, last week the next tutorial for the Tunisian crochet came out. It was for the Tunisian pearl stitch. Not sure which tutorial is next. I'll see as I go this week what we will do for next week. But there will be another tutorial next week on whatever comes my way. Okay, I think that is basically everything that I have. Yes, that's everything that I have for you for this episode. Let's end the episode with a comment question. My comment question for this week is, what is your favorite fiber to work with and your favorite brand? At this moment, I really love Moya yarns. Moya is a mother and daughter team as well. They hand dye all of their yarns. They have cotton yarns. They have a 50% cotton, 50% bamboo blend. They also have 100% bamboo yarns. I've worked with it 2 or 3 times. It seems to me that it's not that popular, and I really don't understand why, because I really love working with the bamboo yarn. You can buy directly from them at Afrik Yarns. I'll put the website on the screen for you, but I really love the bamboo yarn. I know that it doesn't have that much memory. Maybe it doesn't spring back like a wool would, but I really love the yarn. I love the shininess of it, the feel of it. I really love bamboo yarn. But anyway, so yes, I am a big fan of the Moya yarns. I really love the twist in the yarn. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's got a high twist, and I really love that. It's something that annoys me terribly if the yarn untwists and splits, and I've never had that with Moya yarns. I really love, for me, I love their yarns. So at the moment, I would say my favorite to work with is their cotton yarn for now, because it's one of the things that are readily available all around me. But I also love their bamboo. I'm not a fan of the bamboo cotton mix, but my favorite is the cotton and the bamboo. So yes, I love cotton yarns. Cotton is a big favorite of mine. I know lots of people say that it's hard on their hands to work with cotton, but I don't know, maybe I'm just used to working with the cottons. I don't ever have a problem that my hands get tired or anything. And even with my yarn cake cozies, when the cozy was used quite a while, for quite a lot of times, it does stretch out a bit, and it doesn't spring back like normal wools, but if you wash it and you let it dry, it just springs back to its original shape, as you will be able to see here. Like this one has been used quite a lot, and this one has been washed and it just cinched back into its form beautifully. So I really love the cotton yarns. I really like working with it. It's perfect for our climate in summer, even in autumn times. If it's not that cold, the cotton is just warm enough. The cotton is just warm enough for us. Well, for me. I really like working with it. Okay, so I think that now really has to be it. So yes, drop a comment down below and tell me what your favorite fiber and your favorite brand is. It's not, doesn't have to be a like forever favorite. It's just your favorite in the place where you are now. And yes, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back and spending your time with me. If you liked this video, please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I will see you in the next one. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye.